So yay, it's a new year and we're starting our Simple Success with the Star Thrower team coffee chats right now. And so today's topic is that first conversation with our hostess. You know, we work through whatever we have to work through to get somebody to say, sure, I'd love to do a party. And whether it's a Facebook party, a Zoom party, or a live in-person party, there still needs to be that first conversation. So let's talk about what is a successful party for the hostess? What does a successful party mean to us? And in the ideal world, let's brainstorm for a couple minutes also about what it is that we will want her to do to make sure that we have great engagement with her friends. So let's take it from step one. What is a successful party for the hostess?
To earn lots of sparkle.
Earn her lots of sparkle. Yeah.
All the rewards that we are offering for our hostesses. I think that would be something that we would need to help her work towards.
Okay. So probably,
and I also believe, excuse me, I didn't interrupt you.
No,
I think it's really important that we need to know what's on her wish list too, if she happens to have one.
right.
When you're closing out your party, she's got a list of stuff, hopefully, that she would like.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's something that we can talk about with her during that first conversation. So for her, it's going to be getting all the sparkle. You brought up a good point, Debbie, everything that's available. So we needed to make sure we understand what's available to the hostess and convey that to her, right? Somewhere in that conversation. So all the sparkle. What else is a successful party for? If you were a hostess of a party, what would make it successful for you? How would you feel successful as a hostess?
All your friends show up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your friends show up, because what's the opposite of that?
No one coming.
And then how does she feel?
Crappy.
Right. Right.
Like she supports all her friends and now they're not here to support her.
I know. How many times have I heard that? And now I always feel so bad when that happens. I'm like, you're a wonderful person. It's not about you. Yeah. They internalize it, don't they? We all do, right? We all do. What about us? What is a successful party for us? It's a little bit broader. There are more answers to this question.
Parties booked from it.
Yeah.
Possible sponsors.
Love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say, sponsoring.
Yeah.
New recruits.
New recruits. And how does that happen?
Playing the box. No, not the box game.
Yeah, the box
Sorry, I have
game.
that in my head right now. Play the box game for parties.
Right. But think about it. It's based on attendance, right? If we have 2 people versus 12, it ups our chances of all the good stuff happening, right? So successful party has a lot of people at it, one way or another. What else does a successful party give us?
Well, of course, more bookings.
Yeah.
More contacts.
More contact. Ooh, yeah. More contacts for down the road. Right.
Yeah.
Right. More income. Right. More incentives, sales incentives. If we're working toward a trip, more trip points. Right. So there's a lot riding on a party going well. And what we're finding is that we are having a lot of parties that don't live up to the hostess's expectations and hopes, and mine as well. Mine as the consultant as well. And a lot of it is because the hostess isn't doing what we wanted her to do telepathically. But if she would just do this, but we didn't really say to her and to get the agreement with her that here's how this is going to go, right? Hi, Amy. Glad you're with us. So let's talk about what are the key things that we want to say to her. So let's say her name is Beyonce and Beyonce books the party. Okay, so Beyonce has said, sure, I'll do a party with you. Now what do you do?
First,
what's
you
the
get a
best
date.
thing-
You got to get a date first.
Okay, so we get the date, right? We get a date and we get a time. Yeah. In the
And then
ideal
start working on the
world,
wish list.
yeah.
I mean, not her wish list, her
Guest
her
list.
guest list.
Right.
But if you're
Because
at a par, go ahead.
because if you were going to say, Debbie, if you're at a party,
But if you're at a party, she's not gonna have a guest list in front of her. So you're gonna want to get the date, get the time,
the date and the time.
and talk to her about getting with her within the next 24 hours
Yeah.
to get that guest list,
Uh-huh.
get
help
her
her.
wish list, and sending her verbiage for her invites to who she has on her guest list.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, I mean, like if I was at a party and Rainey, you would say, would you like to book a party? And I go, oh yeah, sure. And you go, well, do you have your guest list? I'm gonna go, no.
That's not what I meant. I meant the first step is to get her.
Oh,
to
okay.
get
I'm
you her
gonna say
guest.
no, but everybody
Yeah, no.
here, are y'all gonna come?
Yeah, she can do
Y'all
that.
coming, you know? And I know my hostess is because
And
she's
that
the
is
first
cute.
one,
Mhm.
you know, but yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes, I understood what both of you meant. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
both 100% correct.
High five, Raina. Woo!
Absolutely. So what about the heart part of it, the philosophical part of it? What messaging do we want to convey to her about our new connection with her? Is it like just bam, 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 book it, book it, book it, book it, you know, do this, do that? What's the heart message that we want to convey to her? What do you think would be a
That
good?
it's all about her.
It's all about
It's all
her.
about
Ooh, I
her.
love
It's all
that.
about her.
Mhm. It's all about her, right?
Mhm. It's
And
all about her.
so what will we say to her about it? It's all about her.
I'm your partner.
I'm your
I'm
partner.
I'm
Right.
your partner to make sure.
Circle partner.
Uh-huh.
Right, right.
This is all-
And wouldn't we want to say to her, I know your goal is a whole lot of jewelry, and so we're going to work together to make sure that you get that, right? So it's sort of like saying the stuff that we know is obvious, but we have to find a way to say it so that there's that sense of assurance, and it solidifies the agreement rather than allowing it to be super casual. One of the problems that I'm noticing is that we've been conveying a message to hostesses. Oh my gosh, it's so quick and easy. All you have to do is just add your friends and I'll do the rest, right? Or do this one thing and I'll do the rest. We are really hurting ourselves with that mindset or with that messaging, because then she's going, all right, my consultant said she would do all the work, right? That never works because it is still a person-to-person business, right? It's still the hostess to her guests. In fact, today I just got an invitation to a Pampered Chef party, and by text, and I loved it. And she clearly followed what her consultant asked her to do, which is to send an individual text message to her friends, and it includes the party link so that I can RSVP or shop. She's giving the date, time, location, and telling me the RSVP date. Very old school, right? This happens to be a live in-person Pampered Chef party. And because I've been working to book a party with her myself, you know I'm going to it. Because I know I'm her next party. I know I am. And so I'm going to make sure I show up at this one. But regardless, I love the simplicity. But somehow she and that Pampered Chef consultant made an agreement that that's what she was going to do, as opposed to marketing, you know, hey, on Facebook, hey, I'm doing a party, y'all come, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because our hostess is going to take the path of least resistance. We want to show her the benefit of a great party and how to get there. And it's going to be through the individual invitations. What if I said, and this is something that I'm not good at, but what if I said, hey, awesome, I'm so glad you want to book the party. Do you have a quick second so I can call you and I can get her on the phone? In fact, I'm going to do that with both of my hostesses. I've got 2 hostesses in person for later this month, and we've already got their date, their invitation set. I'm going to call them both today and do that quick level set with them about it being personal, right? And making sure that they understand the host rewards. because I think that's the biggest miss over 20 years. Raina and Debbie, you've been in the industry a long time. Have you ever gotten to the end of closing out all the orders and the hostess goes, oh, do I get free things? Don't I just get half price stuff? You know, because I have not shared with her what she's going to get, right?
Wouldn't it be to our advantage when we're at a party and we do have that person and you're so busy that we actually have right in front of us, say, look, I would like to give you a call sometime tomorrow. You let me know it's a good time. I'll write it down on my calendar. But in the meantime, this is all the things that a hostess is going to be able to get this month. I want you to look over it so that when we talk, you're going to know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming we have it for this month. Yeah, exactly. But even if not, you can say, this is sort of what we normally do. Next month will be a little bit different, but it's kind of like this. And she can at least see. Yeah, that's great. I think the
Yeah, but even if
visuals.
we don't even if we book something for the first week in February, we already know that we don't know what the special is going to be, but we already know that with a $600 party and $1,000, this is what you're going to get, and blah 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 blah. There's going to be a big surprise come February 1st that I'm excited to share with you.
Right.
You know, I mean, we got to come up with some kind of verbiage to make it be exciting. And if she were to ask, you know, well, what about my best girlfriends? What are they getting? Well, we already know when you spend 100, your next one is 50% off. That, you know, that's a given, you know. So, and there might be something new in there. We don't know.
Right. But there's always the base host rewards that we can point her to, because that's going to help her chip away at her wish list.
And of course, the bigger the party, the more she's going to get.
Right. Yeah. I also think that one of the biggest components right now is talking to her about the difference between marketing her party and inviting to her party. You know, we were talking about this on the call the other night, the marketing versus the inviting to things. And that applies to our hostess as well, because a lot of these gals are just used to adding a bunch of people to a Facebook event, as opposed to individually inviting people to come to a gathering, whether it's on Facebook or on Zoom or in person. People need to be fully invited. And so that's where I think we can say anecdotally, this is what I want to say, for example, to my brand new hostess that I have. I've never met her, never done a party with her. And to say, you know, we've had successful parties and unsuccessful parties. The unsuccessful parties have been the ones where the hostesses have just marketed. And the really successful parties are the ones where people have been invited fully by the hostess individually, and they feel special, and they know that they're personally being invited to the gathering, whether it's on Facebook or it's on Zoom or it's in person. But we can share with them that there is a big difference, because remember, we're the expert. She's not the expert. And if we give her the expert information, more than likely she'll listen to it, because she wants all the goodies. Especially if we say to her, my goal for you is $1,000 party. That's my goal for every host, is $1,000 party plus, because that's going to help you to max out the host rewards. And I know exactly how to get that to happen for you. And I think that engenders confidence. The hard part is having that conversation, because we're like, yay, we booked a party. Okay, quick, set it up, keep going, you know. And we never stop to set that base foundation for her of expectations. What else do we want to make sure she knows in the beginning that you can think of? I'm trying to see what Amy says. I have a hard time with the chat.
Yeah, Amy has a question. I can read it. She says,
you.
I find it frustrating when time and again, and it seems to constantly happen to her, that she really hostess coach. She gives them the verbiage. I tell them the tips and tricks. I tell them what, and they don't listen to anything I say. How do you comment on that?
Yep. Okay. So, and this is where the initial conversation is critical, because you want to weed those people out, basically get them to agree that they're going to do it the way that we do it. or it's just not going to work. And I think that's really critical because women are more likely to do what they say they're going to do if we lead them into that conversation. But so often they're not going to do what we tell them to do because it was never an agreement in the first place. That's the hard part. So I wonder, what are the words that we might say to make it an agreement in the beginning? I love the concept of partnering. Somebody said partner. We're going to partner. Maybe Patricia said that. How do we, what are the words that we might use to help her to see that it's a joint effort and it's not just on us?
Well, I've been giving daily tasks and that seems to help.
Mhm.
And I just have it all saved in my phone
Yeah.
as, what do you call that? When you have the text already and you just have to,
Placement. Yeah.
yeah. And so I already have it saved in my text,
Mhm.
in my phone so that I don't have to type it out every time or copy
Yeah.
and paste.
So
And
nice.
I send her whatever the daily tasks are. And again, to Amy's point, is I let her know in advance when she books. I mean, of course, not at the second she books, but within her hostess coaching in the beginning, I let her know that this is a joint effort. If you help me, then
I can help you.
I help you. And
Yeah.
so we work together to make it a successful party. And
Right.
I need for you to obviously personally invite your friends and then give her verbiage for that. That's also saved in my phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a daily commit from her, which won't take her very long. And since I started doing that in November, they've all agreed. So
Mhm. Okay. So it's setting
if
up
they
that
know there's a
agreement.
little work to do,
Mhm.
yeah, on
Mhm.
their part to have a successful party. But like you said earlier, Betsy, if we say, just invite your friends, I'll do all the work, we really are shooting ourselves in the foot
I know.
because they do have to participate, but
Mhm.
it doesn't take much for it to be a successful party on their part.
Yeah. But again, that's where this level set, that first conversation of setting up the agreement of working with her so that she understands what to expect. I think that's where we have really hurt ourselves in the past, especially when we had back when everything shut down and we started doing these parties, 2 days from now. Oh my gosh, I have a Zoom party in 2 days. And then you do the Zoom party and somebody else books for 2 days later. There's not a lot of time in there for that level set. And it was all happening so fast and everybody was just kind of hanging out on Zoom anyway, or on Facebook. It's so different now. And we have to go back to the old school of getting people involved in the actual inviting to a gathering. And so it's funny, I was talking with Barbara McGovern, senior executive director, and she keeps talking about a guest list and a gathering. And so basically people she's inviting to a thing that's happening. And it could be a thing that's happening on Facebook. I'm okay with that. Or a thing that's happening on Zoom, or a thing that's happening in person. But if it's just this, hey, market to your friends, and I'm just going to post, we're not going to have success with that. But that's where this level set comes into play, because a lot of women did that as a hostess, and now that's not working. We have to retrain even our hostesses of how we're doing this now, because it is different. But the cool thing is that it's old school and we know it works. Right? And so that's what's exciting, is the guest list and the gathering, and we get their buy-in on that. Yeah, so Amy says, I like the idea of making it an agreement. I'll do this, but you need to do this. Right. And again, taking it back to what's in it for her. That $1,000 party is about 10 orders, and that's going to get her everything that she wants from her party, that $1,000 plus, party. So anyway, any last thoughts on any of that? Hi, Rena.
I will agree with it, because I've been kind of like Terry, where I've been avoiding the Facebook party because I had that type of conversation with a hostess, and we ended up doing her party Facebook because we had to cancel the in-person.
Yeah.
And I had that whole conversation, like, it's really important for you personally, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh yeah. And then she ended up dumping like 100 people in the Facebook party and barely got any orders.
Yeah.
but with now I've been pushing more the Zooms and really talking to them about the party being like, even though it's virtual, to treat it like it's a party, like the people coming to your house. And
Yes.
so when I had
Yes.
someone do that, and so she ended up having a Zoom party, and she, you know, she treated it like they were coming, you know, to her house. And
Love it.
so she had good attendance. I ended up sponsoring from that party, and then, you know, booked another party from it. But
Love it.
but you know, treating it like, because then they're more involved, right? Because they want to make sure that their friends show up to the Zoom. And I think maybe that's even more why I like the Zoom, because of the fact that you can't get away with like just sending out stuff and hoping people show up, because it will be clear whether you did it or not, because no one will show up, you know, or people will. So
yeah, I love it. I love the way you express that too. I think that's really great.
And then when we do go to in person, you already have the system in place, and now they're actually physically going somewhere. So you're not having to shift your mindset too much.
Right.
You know, you're actually coordinating a location versus a Zoom.
Yeah, that's exactly right. On Saturday's coffee chat, I'm going to have everybody print off the 2 host coaching checklists, the digital one and the in-person one. And just like we did when we were in Florida, we're going to go through each of those 2 sets of to-dos and pick the most important one within each of the timeframes. And you're going to find some shocking similarities that really take us back to the crux of what you just said. It really is all about the hostess inviting her friends as if it was an in-person gathering, even if it isn't. So I love that. Any other last thoughts about what we want to make sure the hostess understands when we first get started with her? Anything we've missed? Anything else critical about that? Okay. All right, girls. Well, so great to see you. Gosh, what a great start to my Wednesday morning. I really appreciate it. Love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.